Enforcement against unauthorized Dragon Court Earth Death Order. I, Richard Dunn, Ardrit. By my blood, which is my lineage, by my will, which is my wish, by my word, which is my command, by my hand, which is my demand, by my arm, which is my requirement under contract from the people to myself, through my higher self, with the Sun as agent to the good side of Source. For which, by the will and word of Source, the great arranger of all things, for my and all others' responsibility and best outcomes, with survival and abundance for the righteous, just and innocent. I am grateful to have been allowed this honor as well as the titles, the perfect man and cosmic sleuth, keeper and guardian of the white cube and the sacred knowledge therein. Accordingly, I have, in time past, accepted ownership and responsibility, which gives authority, which gives jurisdiction, which gives dominion, and therefore must be with the guidance of Source, Sun and my higher self. Certain entities of the Dragon Court, see below, claim I am the terraformer/designer of this world, as Atla, the Egyptian Ibis god, and want to enslave me to that purpose. Others want to enslave me as their design maven. Some think I am the Irish god, Lug, creator and savior. There are others, I find it annoying. I just develop technologies others cannot or before them. I also recognize evil very clearly. It is not me, I have the white cube, operating manual for this universe. The problem. The Milky Way is a parasitic chop-shop galaxy for that preys on the class best described as dwarf galaxies, solar systems and worlds that crossed the void and collided with said chop-shop. All that can, run from it. We are one such solar system, having crossed the void between galaxies as part of the dwarf galaxy Sagittarius Minora. I originally only wanted to save this solar system. I was not allowed to proceed for only one world, it had to be all or nothing across the Milky Way for said class. Understand, all power is derived, and I answer also. To get what I wanted, or rather the shot for the ring, I had to agree to the contract. Power is not power unless one has 1. Authority based on legal standing. 2. Means of enforcement, and 3. The will to pull the trigger. I have all three, and remember, by your own admission you are destroying my work. Authority is addressed in my book, entitled Demand for Title of Earth and Adjudication, The Way Out to Stop the Destruction of Earth. Simply, ownership gives authority, which gives jurisdiction, which gives dominion. Ownership is conferred under soul contract. Most people know this as the divine right of kings by Source, but none are ever told the real basis. This contract is real and is between a family line based on genetics and Source. The current ruling body of this world leadership is made up of the Dragon Court, made up of the princes and kings of this world being descended from the Anunnaki. This is chartered as a sovereign society under the English throne conjunct the papacy. The casebook proves all said claims are fraud. This soul contract with Source is represented in the metaphysical symbol for this world's true rulership as the white cube, not the black cube of the black sun, Saturn, of the outer solar system of Saudi Arabia and the illegal invaders. Much of this is also referenced in the Hindu sacred scriptures, the Vedas and the Mahabharata. How strange to find the warriors of a war that did not exist whose descendants live. Then again to find the truth of the untouchables of India, the true filth of this world. I wonder who reads this as to their descendancy. Buckingham Palace, Jerusalem. Sumer. I know. The invaders were Anunnaki from their planet, Nibiru, per the lost books of Enki, having originally come to steal the Dyson sphere of our solar system, referred to in that book as the Golden Necklace, made of gold, encapsulating the 5 original inner planets to harvest energy from our Sun, including Autu and including Jupiter. Orientals, Black Nobility, Khazarians, Octagon, Superiors, Associates, Contractors, Minions, Assigns, Heirs, and beneficiaries less innocents, having been called suspects, are now convicts. Thieves never have standing. These documents are to be applied to all other worlds being processed, having been processed or to be processed in kind with full protection, as is this one. The lost books of Enki trace back to the Sumer and the Anunnaki, who claim to have created man. Simply, man is too old by billions of years and does not come from the Milky Way. The Anunnaki did not create man. They claimed these things so that they would have the right to destroy what they owned and drove this world into false religion so that everything that was believed would be a lie, so there would be no way out in the false courts they provided. I came to judge due to my prior lives as judge on the intergalactic level and my understanding of the law, the real law. Accordingly, this was adjudicated in the Milky Way court and then by the source of this universe in the hierarchy. My book documents the original royals holding the divine right of king's soul contract with source on this world were the Dunns, the real one ring to rule them all of the high kings of Ireland et Terra, as Ireland was among the first to defrost at the end of the last ice age as you seek to destroy the evidence now. The story is true, having been perverted and inverted by evil. My family name is over 450,000 years old, older than the Anunnaki claims. Hence, English claims to this contract are based in fraud and perversion of truth. Enforcement. The book gave rise by necessity to the writ of execution of December 25, 2017 for the adjudicated court case of the book. The writ also sits on the stairway to heaven. Said casebook establishes an army called the Just from across the universe with manners of engagement of forces and payment for those who come. Quite lucrative actually. What the book calls for is for the interlocking treaties across the universe, going back to the beginning on the good side of Source to become active and supply military troops and resources, based on their ability. Weapon systems are disclosed and integrated by synergy with a view to tactics and strategy of attack and retreat using portals, in and out with nuclear mines for those who follow. The book gives details. This is included in the judgment. I had stated in conversation and copy of relevant documents to various entities representing to be part of the Dragon Court that in 1 years, under worst circumstances, the Milky Way would run out of energy based on current energy spectral analysis, at which time the problem entities would be culled. This was done to see if they would acquiesce. This has not happened and the rate of destruction of Earth has increased. In talking to the Anunnaki representatives on this world, an age-old truth has become apparent, with a few subtle modifications. Entities do not change, unless they experience sufficient pain to force compliance. I use that word, compliance, as that is the word they use to support our leaders from the heads of state to the lowest workers in their fraudulent court system as imported from their off-world ghetto planets from which they originate and operate as attachments to our people. These are not the brightest bulbs on the tree and fundamentally their business model is as I said, a chop shop. Their fundamental tools of business are assault, blackmail, bribery, lying, murder and perversion, the last two particularly with children as a foodstuff. All human sacrifice must cease immediately, to include war and poison as no form of murder is authorized. A more complete list of crimes available in the casebook demand for title of planet Earth and adjudication, the way out to stop the destruction of Earth. You have been noticed, you had much more than 30 days. When this first came up, after I ordered the deaths of the Court of the Nobles and Court of the Commons of the Milky Way, I had lost 5 souls in battle and the enemy suffered 100 dead, 40 and 60 in 2 solar systems, one in the Giraffe constellation and the other in one of the Dipper constellations, planet number 4, as I recall. I did it for this planet and others. It upsets me terribly. These losses forced me to reassess operations and come up with a better strategy. I spoke with the Sun as agent to Source and Source. 103 months keeping innocence safe while taking the galaxy. To take out a galaxy. These would be acceptable losses. Since I first looked at this, other races have come forward with more advanced weaponry and weapon synergies. Losses will be much lower and the time frame collapsed, thank the good side of Source. The following must be. I understand the surprise of some. This has never happened before. In this universe. However, I have done this in other universes before, all under contract. How sad you were not informed per our plan, but then you do not make legal disclosure to your victims. Source, as the great arranger of all things gave me the genetic circumstances that makes me king and a lot more. Even the High Council of the Timeline should be very afraid to play with this. They are in trouble enough already, abetting theft, should the allegations prove true. Accordingly, I invoke the just under the interlocking treaties and the good side of Aegis. They are to follow the long-range protocol described in the book for minimum losses to themselves and maximum losses to the enemy as possible. Leadership will be based on merit as decided by verifiable reputation, loyalty, cooperation, success action, and integration of communication, command, control, computers and intelligence. Not necessarily in order. Privateers may be used as necessary. World government must return to Tara, Ireland. All banking and government must be turned over immediately. I realize that all are talking heads, holding positions based on compliance, not skill. This is directed to all entities as described in the casebook as being prosecuted, now referred to as convicts, to include the papacy and throne of England. The key to enforcement, authorization. The just and good side of the aegis are directed to attack all criminal governments, leadership, minions, heirs, assigns, associates, superiors, investors and all who have in any way profited from their acts of genocide and all other illegal acts as codified in the casebook, in past, present or future time frames or manipulated time as a potential means of death, theft or harm of any nature, including distress and duress and illegal acts to victims including animals and biospheres whose worlds have illegally been culled and not originally of proper jurisdiction as they did not come from the Milky Way or others who may fall under these documents. Particular focus is to be on the Milky Way. Source speed. They want hell, their wish is granted, lest the innocent and those who did not sign up except under duress. They are to be given their own place, to never bother anyone else again. So it must be until the good side of Source comes to absolve them, should it be something that Source wishes after 65 years. All who conspired with them, must go as well. They must be given their own place and are not to be allowed back into this universe so they may never harm anyone else except their own. If they reform at the will of Source they may be released but not into any universe where they have engaged in criminal behavior, particularly fraudulent leadership plotting worldwide genocide and those charged with implementation. All captive souls must be freed and sent back to the good side of Source. Such installations including Uranus, by purpose are included and must be shut down, under pain of death with extended side trips to the pit, void and oblivion. Such facilities must be turned over. So it must be, under contract with Source and as a directive from this judge. All false royals must lose their sovereignty and entitlements effective immediately, particularly those claiming Anunnaki heritage. Collaborators or religions founded by them and their holdings, are to be turned over until a fair disposition may be made of the assets, all other assets are forfeit. Invasion, temporary occupation and destruction of all illegal resistance is authorized. No nukes on planet. Sleep inducement preferred with collection, incarceration for later disposition. Threat reduction rules. Thank you, Source, I am grateful. Signed this day, May 8, 2017 13.11.11.11 placed on the stairway to heaven 11:11 a.m. /s/Richard Dunn /s/Ardri